Hi, welcome. Sparkles here, and today in our sparkling art sessions we are going to draw a mandala. This one's going to be we're going to use simple everyday tools that you can find around the house. So you're going to need a piece of paper, a number 2 pencil, a straight edge, a Sharpie or a Micron or any magic marker, and then several different objects to make your mandala with. Now, when you're doing mandalas without mandala art tools and you're using round objects, if you're going to be using a plate, you're going to do that one first, because if you do the smaller circles first, when you go to put the plate on, you're not going to be able to get it perfect in the middle. So it's best to start with the larger objects first. Okay, so I'm going to place that directly. Hold on, I need my eyes. Gonna need that correctly in the middle of the paper, and I'm just gonna eyeball it because this is a free-flowing, meditative, intuitive mandala. So there, that looks pretty even on both sides. And then I'm gonna hold it steady and just trace around the plate. All right. And we have our start to the mandala. Now I'm going to use a smaller circle. I'm going to use some leftover paint plates, and I'm going to place that in the middle, and again just eyeballing it. That looks pretty even on all sides. Just going to lightly hold it down and round it out. This one's got a little challenge because the plate is pleated and it jerks the pencil around, but it didn't make too big of a difference. Now, my placement was a little bit off. It's a tiny bit wider on that side and a little bit closer on that side, but it's close enough that I'm not going to worry about it. Next, I'm using painter's tape here, and I'm going to place it in the middle as well. And the nice thing about using tape is you can do an inner circle and an outer circle. Go. And the last one I'm going to do is, this is just a little scotch tape, not masking tape, scotch tape. Okay, placing it into the middle as it looks and tracing that around. Now we have a good start to our mandala. So the first thing I think we will do with our mandala is what am I going to do, found this little cool stone at the beach, and I'm going to use it to make some designs around. I'm not going to go all the way around with the circles. I'm just going to go 1, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So to get a good even, I'm going to look right where the middle is, and because I'm doing 2 of them, move it over, see where the pencil is going to go, and then I'm going to place my pencil on the outside of and hold my pencil up. If you change the angle of your pencil, if you draw around like this or keep it all one way, that'll keep the distance the same. And now for this one, it's kind of like a kidney bean, straighter on this side, so I'm going to flip it over so it looks symmetrical. And then I'm just going to trace it on this side. And now I'm going to do directly below, so I'm going to lightly just bring my pencil down here and put the mark on the outside line. Let me just come down and make sure that's the middle, so I'm going to move it over a little bit. Just about there. Eyeballing it is fine. If it's off a tiny bit, that's okay. It's a Zen thing, learning to live with imperfections and being comfortable with it. Okay, trace over here. And then I'm going to turn my paper. Don't be afraid to turn your paper, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm finding the middle, what looks to be pretty close, and then placing my stone, putting my pencil on the outside, and keeping the pencil upright, doing a circle around. I'm flipping it over and doing it on the other side again. Ooh, I'm getting them perfect. Okay, so again, find the middle. That looks like about the middle. Placing the stone. Move it over just a titch. There we go. Okay. Perfecto mundo. Nice thing about doing these mandalas is they're very meditative. Mandalas is a Sanskrit word that means sacred, spiritual, circular art, more or less. And all cultures do mandalas. Okay, now I'm going to go in the middle of these two and eyeball the middle, and I'm going to place a little dot there. And that's a good way to find the middle. You eyeball, yeah, that looks about middle, mark it off, turn the page, do the same thing. Yeah, right about there. Yeah. The other mandalas that you do with compasses and mandala making tools, it's a little bit easier if you're not eyeballing it, but this is relaxing sometimes just to do them this way. So I'm going to do kind of like a temple dome. So I'm going to end up the temple domes right where the ovals meet. So I'm going to start here and just let my pencil slide down into the corner. And then I'm going to come over to this side and do the same thing opposite. Now they're not going to be exactly perfect, and again, this is a meditative, intuitive mandala, so it doesn't matter. And a good way to get them closer is to visualize in your mind before you actually draw the line. If you know it's going to go here to here and you've got to do a little slope, do it once in your mind before you draw. Alrighty. We're getting pretty close to the end here. Let's see, I think I'm going to do a circle. And I'm going to use my whole shoulder and I'm going to lightly sketch a couple circles, because when you're doing it freehand they don't come out perfectly, so you do a couple of them. That way you can go back in afterwards and pick out which circle fits the best. And then you can lightly erase the leftovers, and once you color it, it's not going to make a difference. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and pick the circle that I like the best on this one and darken it up. Same thing here. Now they're kind of oval circles. Alright, and then I'm going to do something in this outside circle. What shall we do? We are going to do, I think we'll do some lines. So I'm going to mark off the middle here and the middle here, and I'm just going to, what am I going to do? I'm just going to do 4 lines in a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting the spaces pretty even, and then I'm going to turn the paper a little bit and do the same thing, 4 lines. This one's going to be a little shorter. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'm going to do 5 on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. You keep the angles pretty close. And take your time doing these so they don't, you don't want to run past the markings. But right now we're doing it in pencil, so it's okay if you do a little bit. It's very meditative. If you're in a bad mood, this will get you right out of your head. 2/3 of the way around. I'm gonna do one more there because that's the only one that I only did 4 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that one's actually going to get 6. Okay, so there is our basic mandala design. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a black marker. I'm going to start with the Sharpie today because that's what I have. And I'm just going to go over all the lines. And you want to take your time here so it comes out fairly even. Don't be afraid to turn your paper. I'm going to double do this one because I went a little wide on the first, and if you make it a little wider you can cover up any mistakes coming through. Okay. So when you're doing circles, it's good to stop and turn the paper. That helps you keep it so you can follow your eye on the line and get a nice coverage without going outside or off the line. Also, if you stop where the other lines join, it hides if you make a boo-boo a little bit easier. Okay, and now for our petals. I'm just going to do the ovals as well. Noisy little markers. Also, when you're doing the black lines, if you notice you're way off, say this was coming in too far, you can course correct with the black marker and then just erase the pencil. But today my drawing's on, so I didn't mess up too bad anywhere so far that I've had to course correct. Every day is different. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the outer circle. And I'm going to go petal to petal. That's a good length. That way I make sure I stay on the line. It's easier to control the pen for shorter distances. At least I find it to be. And I'm going to start on the lines. These you definitely want to take your time on because if you go over, they're hard to fix. So just go nice and slow on these and make sure you stop and start where you're supposed to because these ones are a little bit harder to fix. The one thing I would recommend if you're doing this on paper is to make sure you get acid-free paper. If you just have copy paper or whatever, that's fine. But you'll find over the years, if you keep it and you like it enough to hang it up, it will fade if it's not on acid-free paper. I learned that the hard way. Now you may notice that my Sharpie pen is drying out a little bit, but that's just fine because when you go to color this in, if you're using colored pencils or magic marker or crown, whatever you use to color this in later, you're going to go over the Sharpie pen marks several times to darken them up. So it's fine that this pen is drying out just a little bit. We're about 2/3 of the way around. Don't get tempted to start going faster because you might run over the lines. Just take your time and breathe. Course corrected a little on those, but that's okay because we're almost done outlining with the black, and you will take an eraser and erase off the extra pencil marks that are showing past the Sharpie pen. Just the outer circle here. Again, stopping and turning the paper to make sure that you can stay on the lines. And I like to again stop where there's a joining, so that'll help cover any unwanted marks. Alright, and now we have a finished mandala. And then you can do the coloring. That's the fun part coming up next. So just color it however you want, take your time, have fun, and thanks, and make your day sparkle with art. Thanks for joining me today.